Tonight, committing to the chief. London's top cop gets a lengthy contract extension.
We've done really good things in over 2 years that I've been here.
Plus, out of service. Mechanical issues pulling London buses off the road. Details on the timeline to get them rolling again. And
reconciliation is not a word that you wear for one day. It is a responsibility you carry every day.
Setting the stage for a day of somber recognition.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a fatal crash investigation north of London near a high school in Arva this afternoon. Provincial police say someone driving a feed truck collided with a small SUV on Medway Road just east of Medway High School. The truck was off the road, smashed into a hydro pole. The SUV was wrapped around a tree. A neighbor told CTV News off camera the collision sounded like a bomb going off. According to police, they say the SUV driver was a young person who has died.
We go to a lot of collisions, and this one is definitely leaving a mark and an impact on not only officers but first responders, bystanders, a significant debris field, and yeah, it's unfortunate.
Elsewhere in Elgin County, a second fatal collision, this one on John Wise Road. This was the scene just southwest of St. Thomas. Police have not released many details, only saying a pedestrian was hit by someone driving a pickup truck and they have since died. At this time, the roadway remains closed. Provincial police say they've taken one person into custody after a standoff in Exeter. They say officers were called to an apartment complex early this morning for someone in crisis. Police say the canine unit was also involved in the response. According to police, one person was taken into custody early this afternoon and no one was injured.
Beautiful conditions across the region this afternoon. A good evening, lots of sunshine as we head through the next hour and a half. Temperature wise, we are sitting at our high for the day. Midwestern Ontario 22 to 24. In London 26 degrees. It's absolutely gorgeous across the region. High pressure in control, and that will be with us tonight. Clear conditions. Watch for a bit of fog overnight, and we will remain under the influence of high pressure. The temperature as we head toward midnight, cooling off to about 13 degrees, and winds light and variable out of the east. Coming up, I'll take you through the extended forecast. Much of the same. Beautiful conditions and summer-like weather will hold across the region, and dry weather. I'll have all your local forecast details coming up in just a few. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Julie. Flag-raising ceremonies were held in London today ahead of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. With more on the message today and the significance of tomorrow, here's Rita Ismail.
The orange shirt flag was raised at Western University's Concrete Beach to the sound of the Medicine Lodge Youth Drum Group, a powerful symbol of remembrance, resilience, and the collective call for change.
We do this work not because we owe it to anybody else, but because we owe it to ourselves and the generations who will follow us. And to our non-Indigenous allies, reconciliation is not a word that you wear for one day. It is a responsibility you carry every day.
The ceremony brought together members of nearby First Nations communities, students, and staff, honoring residential school survivors and urging continued progress on reconciliation.
When I look at the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action over 10 years, we have really accomplished a lot. We haven't accomplished everything, but we have accomplished a lot. For example, we've accomplished 15 for sure of the calls to action completed. That's not all of them, but that much is done.
There are 94 calls to action in total, and for many, the work is just beginning.
Truth and reconciliation is not a one-day effort. This is a day that we hold dear in our hearts as Indigenous people to remind us of the tragedies, not only the tragedies, but the strength that comes from it, and how resilient our youth are being and leading our generations forward.
Participants joined in a ceremonial dance celebrating Indigenous cultures, languages, and traditions. Across the city, another moment of reflection at London City Hall. Councillors and city staff gathered for a more somber ceremony, raising the orange flag in front of the municipal building.
There was a time that none of this was done. It's really important that as a community, as elected officials, we take a stand. There was the Truth and Reconciliation report that we're aware of it, we follow it, we make strides, just not words, to make sure that we're putting actions into those words.
National Day for Truth and Reconciliation has been recognized on September 30th for the last 5 years as a way to amplify education around Indigenous history and the legacy of residential schools. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Indigenous leaders in Kitchener say they've restored a monument in a local park which had been vandalized over the weekend. They had placed more than 200 crosses honoring the lives of Indigenous children lost to the Canadian residential school system. Alexandra Hollick reports.
There should be 215 crosses across Kitchener's Victoria Park lawn, each one symbolizing the suspected remains of an Indigenous child discovered in an unmarked grave at a former residential school in BC. But on Monday morning, only 195 were left standing.
To find out that they've been taken out of the ground and piled up like that for whatever reason is very disrespectful.
The crosses were put up by the Healing of the Seven Generations, a local Indigenous-led community support group, part of an annual display honoring Truth and Reconciliation Day.
The crosses represents this is not going away, and it's not going to stop until all the children are found.
The removal of the crosses leaving questions.
Do they not believe it? Do they? I can't even fathom what is the reasoning behind why they've done this.
The scene also upsetting to some visiting the park.
I kind of feeling the emotion because every cross represents one life, right? And no matter what, we should respect it.
Waterloo Regional Police were on scene Monday morning, counting the crosses and cross-referencing accounts of what happened.
Whether it ends up being an act of vandalism or a hate crime, we won't know until they've done their investigating.
The group sending this message to possible suspects.
If you want to come and apologize, and we can provide you with some sort of knowledge and understanding as to why we're doing this.
In the meantime, they say they're moving forward and they hope the community will rally in support. The annual march from the Healing of the Seven Generations through Kitchener to Victoria Park will take place Tuesday morning.
It's not going to dampen our day. We're still going to push forward and, have an amazing walk because we have to do that for the children.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News.
London's Police Services Board has extended the chief's contract, keeping him on the job into the next decade. As Jerry Dewan reports, both the board and the chief say there's unfinished business.
It was handshakes and hugs all around after the London Police Services Board announced the contract extension for Chief Tai Truong, which would see him holding the top job through to the end of 2031.
We've done really good things in over 2 years that I've been here. We're nowhere near where we need to be. It's going to take a few more years for our organization to be at a really stable place.
Truong was appointed in June of 2023 and soon after launched into a campaign to grow and modernize the service under the Safer Cities banner, resulting in an unprecedented 4-year, $672 million increase for the police service. An investment board chair, Ryan Goss, continues to defend.
We know it's hard for Londoners right now. We know that we're in an affordability crisis. We understand that. But if we didn't invest now, when?
Both Truong and Mayor Josh Morgan note that $2.3 million of that funding was returned over the first 2 years of the multi-year budget and say the investment in policing has already paid dividends.
While many police services and jurisdictions went up in crime severity index, we dropped.
If you want to think about the economics of the city and how we continue to have success, you got to have public safety at the core.
During the news conference, Chief Truong was reticent to identify specific priorities for his extended term, but did admit afterwards that facilities issues, particularly an aging police headquarters, had to be near the top of the list.
Whether it's a police station, it's a substation, we need a footprint, especially in the Northwest.
Morgan says a centralized emergency services training facility proposed for South London could also ease overcrowding at headquarters, with the relocation of the firing range as a way to add additional offices or meeting rooms downtown.
It has the potential to be a regional facility, and we've got lots of partners in the region, whether they're small fire departments, our Indigenous communities, even airports, where we can actually provide services out of that facility. So if you want to get ahead of these large capital asks, you got to be creative.
The extension could see Toronto reach 30 years of police service while in London. Financial details of the chief's contract were not made available, but Goss says they will be reported during the annual Sunshine List disclosures. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
CTV News has learned about 20 London transit buses are being kept off the road each day because of a staffing shortage. Daryl Newcomb has more on the continuing mechanical issues and the impact for riders.
Western students are the single largest source of LTC fare revenue.
Representatives of Western University's Student Council telling the London Transit Commission about the unprecedented number of complaints they've received about bus service.
They're being skipped at their stops. They're unable to get to part-time jobs in the downtown area or campus in time.
According to the fall service update, London Transit continues to struggle recruiting enough specialized mechanics. Quote, vacancies in this employee group represent 12.5% of the workforce. Not having enough mechanics has meant 20 fewer buses on the road each day. That's forced Express Route 92 and 95 to be suspended, and 9 other routes have experienced frequency reductions. Staff say to minimize the impact, the canceled routes have alternate routes along the same corridors, and the frequency reductions are taking place on bus routes that already offer the highest frequencies.
We anticipated crowding concerns. Even if we would have had all the buses, this is just making matters a little bit worse for us.
The delivery of 34 replacement buses from the manufacturer this summer, representing 2024 and 2025 orders, has further stretched the already depleted workforce. Each of those new buses requires about 107 hours of work being fitted up with London Transit equipment prior to entering service on the road.
Hoping by mid-November we'll have all the buses that we have available out on the routes and picking up those service times that we had to drop. So hopefully in the next 2 months, earlier is obviously better, and we'll make every effort for that.
The LTC approved sharing data about overcrowding with Western's USC, as well as working together on addressing the current challenges and advocating for additional government funding.
We're very much looking forward to working with the commissioners and LTC staff on joint advocacy to all 3 levels of government to get more funding for the LTC and ultimately more funding for students and the London community.
The next meeting of the London Transit Commission is October 27th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Thousands of Western students and alumni celebrated homecoming this weekend. With more on the festivities and the efforts to keep them safe, here's Lauren Stallone.
Thousands of Western University students gathered Saturday for the annual homecoming football game.
Just kind of trying to have the best time that I can for my last year.
The full-day event is an opportunity for students and alumni to gather, reconnect, and cheer on the Western Mustangs.
I'm just looking forward to see all the buddies who came up for the big weekend, so I think it's going to be a great time.
Mingling. We like to really socialize.
Yeah, socialize. I want to make a lot of friends, so.
We're just super excited to hang out with our friends. We live right back here, so we're just excited to celebrate. It's our last one, it's the final year, so we gotta do it.
But with the excitement comes a massive gathering on Broughdale Avenue.
There's obviously a lot of fun, but there's a lot of downsides. Every time we wake up, day after HOCO, our house is a mess.
A lot happens during HOCO, so just making sure you're taking care of yourself is a big thing.
Police officers from Hamilton, Windsor, and the OPP joined London officers to patrol the streets.
Although it happens every year, we work to provide mitigation and safety pieces in place to make sure everyone can enjoy themselves responsibly, but be safe at the same time.
Over the years, the city has implemented new strategies to improve safety. The newest addition, vehicle mitigation devices, a barrier designed to prevent vehicles from ramming into crowded areas.
There are some barriers in place in the middle. That's for our officers to be able to patrol back and forth without being caught up within the students.
With another homecoming now in the books, London police say safety will remain a top priority for years to come. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Goderich hosted a car show this weekend dedicated to drivers with an appreciation for a certain German engineering. With more on Vulkfest, here's Scott Miller.
Volkswagen lovers from all over Ontario converged on downtown Goderich for Vulkfest, a celebration of everything Volkswagen.
I've been into them for 35 years. I've owned over a dozen of them. And just the community of people that you meet, all walks of life, and friendships that have lasted a lifetime.
VW buses, campers, and Beetles filled Goderich's Courthouse Square for the one-day festival, which those in attendance concede is a collection of atypical car lovers.
There seem to be a different kind of breed that own Volkswagens. It's like a love-hate relationship because they're constantly being fixed and need this and need that.
They're like a work of passion and really just like an art form, really, when you're sitting underneath it for half your day trying to make it run, and you're trying to get to the festival today and it breaks down and you have some tears, but the guy behind you is a mechanic. It's a passion.
This is the 11th edition of Vulkfest. The first 10 were spent in Bayfield, but organizers moved the VW showcase to Goderich for the first time this year.
Oh my God, how can you not love this? Look at the community around us, right? It's so much support. I caravan here with other vans so that if anybody breaks down, we're here for one another. It's a lot of fun. There's always good music and vendors. People love the scene.
It's got a bit of a hippie spirit to it. It's just good vibes, really.
There's a guy we were talking to earlier said, yeah, you might be home. He was talking to someone who was driving a fast car, and he says, you'll be home before I am, but I'm already home. I like that a lot.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, government support for Ontario's steel industry, provincial and federal cash in the face of American tariffs. Plus, emerging details about a Canadian man killed in Wisconsin while on a golf vacation, the accused making their first court appearance.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The federal and provincial governments are giving Canada's last independent steel producer a financial lifeline. Officials say it's about finding new markets for Algoma products, trying to be less reliant on the U.S. Rachel Aiello reports.
The federal and provincial governments are loaning this Ontario steel plant $500 million.
I think the critical part of it is it gives us the liquidity to pivot our business towards the future of Canada.
The bulk of the financial support, $400 million, is the first to come from a program Ottawa launched in March to help Canadian companies affected by Trump's tariffs. That money and the other $100 million the Government of Ontario is lending is to help Algoma afford new equipment and retrain its workers, as the 50% tariff from the United States has effectively closed off what has for decades been a key market for this and other Canadian steelmakers.
If we don't have Canadian-owned steel companies, then we are vulnerable to the whims of other countries, other markets, and we can't have that.
The steel sector has already seen more than 1,000 layoffs since the trade war started.
The prospect of more is growing every day.
Both the minister and the local MPP framed the loan as an investment in Canadian industry.
We are fighting to protect a company that is truly a Canadian institution.
But the federal Conservatives said they'll be scanning the fine print.
Mark Carney is repeating the same Liberal talking points of the last 10 years, claiming that when he borrows and spends, it is an investment.
A federal official told CTV News today that Algoma is so far the only steel company in Canada to apply for this funding. Its CEO estimated today that it could take 18 months to 2 years for Algoma's plans to pivot to a domestic market to fully materialize. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The suspect charged in the shooting death of a Canadian man in Wisconsin made a court appearance today denying the accusations. John Venevalley Rao has the latest on the circumstances leading up to the fatal gunshot.
You have the right to adjourn.
The accused made a video appearance in a Wisconsin courthouse. 35-year-old Luis Cruz Burgos read his rights using a Spanish interpreter and charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of Mike Robinson, who grew up in Stouffville, Ontario, and who'd been on a golfing trip with friends and family when things went horribly wrong. A murder that stunned locals.
I'm shocked. I don't even really know what to say.
This was Robinson last week celebrating a hole-in-one. Afterwards, he and 3 other men went to celebrate at a bar in Sheboygan, which is north of Milwaukee. A criminal complaint lays out how Robinson and the others tried to get an Uber back to their hotel at around midnight, and failing that, approached Cruz Burgos, a DoorDash driver, for 9 months and tried to negotiate paying him for a lift. Police obtained surveillance picking up the sound of their interaction. One man said he wasn't going to give the driver $40 for 5 minutes of work, and they walked away. Another man said Cruz Burgos drove off, but then doubled back. That's when he heard a pop and Robinson say, "I'm dying." The 32-year-old passed away from a single gunshot wound to the chest. His wife gave birth to a baby girl just 6 weeks ago.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
That charge has not been proven yet.
In the criminal complaint, Cruz Burgos claims the men called him stupid, and one of them flipped him off, and he says he didn't shoot anyone. In court, authorities said he has no known criminal record. Upon news of his arrest, the Robinson family issued a statement to local media, expressing our deepest gratitude to the police department for acting swiftly and making the arrest. If convicted, Cruz Burgos could face up to 60 years in prison. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to support Robinson's family, which has so far raised almost $250,000. John Benavalli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
On the desk now with Julie Atchison as we are wrapping up September, but it is still very much feeling like summer as we make the transition to October.
Yes, and potentially we've broken a record today. I was just looking at the record, and when we take a closer look, we hit 25.9 degrees this afternoon. That record back in 1995 of 25.2. Now it's unofficial. Environment Canada will still have to confirm that, but it looks like temperatures breaking records in parts of southern Ontario. 10 degrees our low last night, a repeat tonight. We've had some fog to deal with, and we'll have the same story as we head into tomorrow. 25 degrees, the pressure's high at 102.3, and the winds on the hour are calm. A couple of tropical storms to talk about tonight as we head down just to the east of Florida, causing some strong rip currents as they make the move through, but staying offshore. So this is Imelda and Hurricane Humberto, and both of those storms will not be making landfall, but bringing some heavy rainfall to some coastal areas. We have a weak cold front off to the north, and this frontal boundary will be slipping through our area over the next couple of days. It's dry, and it'll come through. It'll only bring a shift in the winds, and temperatures will be dropping a bit. As we look across the country tonight, southern Manitoba, Saskatchewan, it's been extremely hot, breaking some records there yesterday, and potentially once again today. A nice big ridge in the jet stream allowing all this warmth to build in. Next 24 hours, not a lot to show you. I mentioned that weak dry front to the north. That will slowly be slumping down over the next couple of days, but extremely beautiful tomorrow. Daytime highs into the mid to upper 20s. Gorgeous weather on tap. High pressure over the next 7 days. And looking at the extended forecast models, it looks like this warmth will be holding until about October 12th to 14th. So looking ahead, we are looking for warmer than average temperatures to continue across southern Ontario. Overnight, 9 in Wyerton, 8 in Mount Forest and KW, and a bit milder along the lakeshore of Huron and Erie. Your forecast for National Day of Truth and Reconciliation tomorrow, it will be a hot one in the afternoon. Temperature forecast 27, and it will feel like 29. Lots of sunshine across the region. Our metal roof outlet forecast as we take you through the next 7, dry. Conditions across our region extremely dry. There's no rain in the forecast, not even the opportunity for showers. So it'll be sunny Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud Thursday. Friday, sunny, 22 to 26 degrees. And that's the dry front that comes through. So it will drop our temperature just a bit. So it'll be nice and cool at night and beautiful in the afternoon. That's some picture perfect fall weather. Feeling like summer again Friday and Saturday, 26 degrees both days. Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud and mainly sunny on Monday. As we head to Midwestern Ontario for tomorrow, sun-filled skies. Temperature as we push toward Wyerton around 19 to 20 degrees, but the further south you go, the warmer we're going to get. So Huron and Perth County into the mid-20s, 24 degrees as we push towards central Huron and Perth. Southern Grey and Bruce as well. Sunshine Wednesday and 21, 22 on Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud. So a brief cool down, but still above normal. Friday back up to 26 and dry. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday, mix of sun and cloud Sunday. And look at the probabilities, 0 to a 10% chance. So we do have a bit of a blocking pattern and a series of high pressure systems moving into the Great Lakes Basin. And that will keep conditions sunny, dry, and summer-like, Carlyle, across the region. So really some gorgeous weather continuing across our area, and again potentially that record breaking this afternoon with the temperature coming up close to 26, 27 degrees.
Beautiful for sure. Thanks very much, Julie. Still to come, a cautionary tale about the risks of a rental car while on vacation. A Canadian couple experiencing one of the worst case scenarios while abroad.
Rock the Park just announced another incredible summer coming up Thursday, July 16th. We've got Jordan Davis, Tucker Wetmore, Chase Matthew, and Mackenzie Carpenter all heading to Harris Park. You can find all the details and how to get tickets over at purecountry93.ca.
A multi-million-dollar federal funding announcement today awarding thousands of dollars to high-potential local businesses.
Today we announce and we celebrate potential. We celebrate talent.
London MP Peter Fregiscanos was at Tech Alliance of Southwestern Ontario announcing a $3.5 million investment. He says that money will be distributed to local startups needing a boost. More than 100 businesses will have access to $10,000 each over 3 years.
It will allow us to have access to things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to purchase, like large-scale equipment, so we can improve our production time, as well as investing in some things like sustainable packaging that we wouldn't otherwise be able to invest in at this early stage.
The potential here is enormous because if only a few succeed, we're talking about potentially hundreds of jobs being added to the community. Take an example like Infotech, which was in the room today. Started with an idea and is now employing in London alone in excess of 400 people. That's just one success story. So I'm very encouraged by what I see, and that's why we invested today.
Ontario's minimum wage will increase on Wednesday.
The small business sector employs staggering amounts of people, numbers of people in the private sector. And they are the least capitalized. They have the highest failure rates. I'm saying that as a former banker who lent millions of dollars to small businesses some years ago. One only has to look at the stats and see that they employ lots and lots of Canadians, over 50%, but they also have high failure rates. And so a lot of small businesses are hanging on by their fingernails. And so this is obviously wages are a big cost. And so there's always the risk that we're going to tip some of those small businesses into bankruptcy.
The 40-cent per hour raise will bring the minimum wage up to $17.60 an hour. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island are also raising their minimum wages on October 1st. It's becoming more common for rental vehicles to come without a spare tire. As Pat Foran reports, that can be a problem for travelers when they get a flat. And in the case of one Canadian couple, that was just the start of a nightmare vacation experience.
Sally Jerkaba and James Dawson of Oshawa were on a holiday in Spain last fall. They rented a car and stopped to get supplies, but when they went back to their rental, two people were acting suspicious around the vehicle. They got on the highway, and 20 minutes later, they had a flat.
We both looked at each other and said, no one's coming to help. Let's change the tire.
But when they went to get the spare tire out of the trunk, they got a surprise.
He opens the hatch, pulls out all the luggage, lifts up the cover, and there's no tire.
I was frankly shocked. You know, growing up in Canada, we always have a spare tire.
While they were trying to deal with the flat tire, a man came out of long grass on the side of the road claiming he could help.
He was pretending to be a good Samaritan. Someone came out of the culvert, an accomplice of his, opened the door, and grabbed my purse with our passports, all our documents, money, and grab James's camera back.
The couple was left stranded for the next 7 hours. They couldn't get through to Avis, their rental company. We also reached out to Avis but did not get a response. On the company's website, it says the manufacturer may not have equipped your car with a spare tire. They may provide an inflator and seal kit. You should check the vehicle before you leave with the car.
We had the assumption that there would be a spare tire.
Lisa Glass and Matt Barber of Toronto vacationed in Newfoundland this summer. They rented a car and also got a flat tire. They were shocked to find out the car did not come with a spare.
The last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service, with no spare.
Jerkaba and Dawson wanted to share their story, not just to warn about rental cars not having spares, but also to beware of criminals who may give you a flat tire so they can rob you on the side of the road.
It's not worth fighting over camera gear or personal belongings. It's personal safety that matters.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Finish higher. The TSX gained 211 points. In New York, the Dow added 69, the Nasdaq up 107. The Canadian dollar rose 1/10 cent. On commodity markets, gold moved ahead more than $45 an ounce. Oil fell almost $2.30 a barrel. Still ahead, closing up on short notice. The sudden decision to shutter hundreds of North American Starbucks locations.
5K a day is back on 97.5
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Hi, my name is Jason Peffer. I'm Business Manager and Financial Secretary of UA Local 527, Southwestern Ontario. If you're thinking of a career in the trades, there are great opportunities with Local 527 members currently working at the Bruce Nuclear Facility under the Major Component Replacement Program and the 4 nuclear reactors that we'll be adding with Bruce C, as well as the Volkswagen PowerCo facility yet to be built in St. Thomas. Our members are working on everything from the underground plumbing and water lines to the heating and cooling and process work required in the auto industry, right up to the life-saving isotopes that are being produced at the Bruce Nuclear Power Facility. There are many opportunities for our members to work locally, but as a union member, you have the opportunity to travel and work interprovincially throughout Canada and even the United States. If you're looking to learn more about the pipe trades, go to ua527.com.
The Trades, brought to you by UA Local 527.
Canada Border Service agents say an outage at self-serve passport kiosks has been resolved. The outage caused lengthy delays at Toronto's Pearson Airport Customs, as well as other major airports last night. Earlier this morning, the CBSA indicated travelers may still experience delays for a short period of time. WestJet officials said the outage meant manual customs services were at full capacity, and the airport had to pause deplaning until the lines shortened. There's pushback in Canada's auto industry ahead of new American tariffs going into effect this week. The U.S. president claims these latest duties are about protecting America from a national security threat. Colton Prale reports.
For months, Donald Trump's tariffs have targeted what's inside trucks like these. But soon, it'll be the trucks themselves facing tariffs. The U.S. president says beginning Wednesday, medium and heavy-duty trucks will face 25% tariffs. But the White House has yet to specify what's impacted.
I don't know how it's going to affect our existing customers because we still have a couple trucks to deliver. And I'm not sure how those tariffs are going to affect it.
The federal government says Canada exports over $3 billion of medium and heavy-duty trucks to the United States. And what exactly is tariffed could change where the impacts are felt.
Trucks could be fire trucks, could be buses. And so we'll get a sense of whether this affects Ontario or Manitoba and Ontario or Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec.
Edison Motors is a new truck manufacturer in British Columbia, which focuses on electric trucks. They say American interest has been high, even selling to the U.S. government. But the proposed new tariffs mean now they're looking elsewhere for buyers.
I would rather focus on the Canadian, Australia market. Until the U.S. has a little bit more stable government, I'm going to be a Canadian manufacturer.
Trump's new tariffs, like those on autos, steel, and aluminum, use national security legislation as their justification. Trade lawyers say that makes them harder to fight against.
Really what this all means is this is something we're probably going to have to negotiate with the Trump administration.
The federal government recently announced $6 billion in support funds for businesses impacted by tariffs. Asked if it will be extended to companies hit by Trump's new tariffs, officials were unavailable to comment. Colton Prail, CTV News, Ottawa.
Seniors, long-term care residents, hospital staff, and patients can get their flu shots starting this week. Vaccinations open up for everyone else on October 27th. Most other provinces and territories are expected to begin their flu shot programs in mid-October. According to the Lung Health Foundation, young children, seniors, people with asthma, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease are at higher risk of severe illness from the flu. The Toronto Blue Jays are enjoying several days off after clinching a division title yesterday. As Sean Leathong reports, for fans, it's now a week of anticipation for what they hope is a lengthy postseason run.
A celebration a decade in the making. The Toronto Blue Jays are American League East champions.
It's a very fulfilling feeling because this group is so close. And, it's the first division title in a long time here, so I'm happy for every fan in the city.
Clinching the division at home on the last day of the season is a statement, but not an ending, according to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I love this team and I love the city, so I feel so happy to win with this city.
Where do we go from here?
Job is not finished, so we got to keep going and we got to keep winning.
Now that the champagne has dried up, there's a new phrase surrounding this team. We want it all, as fans continue to revel in the excitement.
Absolutely awesome. They deserved it. They worked hard and they ground all season long, got the finish they needed.
Inside the Jays shop, merchandise marking the division champs is going fast.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6 shirts and a hat, bring back to the family, and we're all really excited about the postseason.
Divisional champs. My dad was wearing the one from 2015 last night, so I had to get him a new one.
Gotta get it updated, eh?
Yeah.
Many of the fans in here were at yesterday's game, and they came from across Canada, like David and Jim Flather from Winnipeg, who attended their first ever home game.
Unbelievable. We show up for our first game, and there's a grand slam. I mean, what are the odds?
And a drive to deep left field.
Alejandro Kirk's first inning grand slam would be all the Jays needed yesterday, bringing 42,000 fans to their feet. Two of those fans, 8-year-old Isaac and 11-year-old Alex Fairhurst from Calgary, have a positive outlook for the playoffs.
How far can they go?
Really far.
World Series?
Yep.
What do you think?
World Series as well.
Sean Leathong, CTV News.
League officials with the NFL have announced this season's Super Bowl halftime headliner. Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist on Spotify in 3 of the past 5 years, and he'll be the main act for Super Bowl 60, performing a 15-minute set. The NFL broke the news during last night's game between the Packers and Cowboys. The 31-year-old performer is from Puerto Rico, where he just finished a residency, and he's set to host the season premiere of Saturday Night Live this coming weekend. Rock the Park organizers have announced the country music lineup for next year. The headliner for Thursday, July 16th will be Jordan Davis, joined by Tucker Wetmore, Chase Matthew, and Mackenzie Carpenter. Tickets go on sale this Thursday morning.
Thank you to Janice Mader for sending this photograph in. I love the fall flowers just as much as the summer ones. It's a beautiful time of year, and we're starting to see those leaves change color. Fog overnight, lots of sunshine in the extended forecast. Every day sunny, feeling like 29 Tuesday afternoon. Sunshine will continue over the next 7 days.
Police in Michigan say they've identified the man suspected of a fatal mass shooting at a church over the weekend.
That suspect is a 40-year-old male from the city of Burton, who we identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford.
Police say the suspect crashed a vehicle through the Mormon church's front doors Sunday morning in a community about an hour northwest of Detroit. They say he then started shooting before setting fire to the church. Police say the suspect was later killed in a shootout with officers. 4 people are dead, with 8 others sent to hospital. Police say the suspect was a former U.S. Marine, and at this point they have not offered a motive behind the shooting. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister addressed the United Nations General Assembly in New York today.
Russia's aggression, attacks on civilians, and abduction of children are flagrant violations of international law. Putin believed Ukraine would fall in 3 days. 3.5 years later, Ukraine still stands, its sovereignty intact, its people unbowed, its courage unbroken. Canada's position is clear. Putin cannot be permitted to redraw boundaries at his will.
Anita Anand says Ukraine is not backing down, nor are Ukraine's allies, which includes Canada. A Canadian driver says they were recently chased down on a U.S. highway by an American border agent, shouting at them to never come back to the U.S. again. The video shows a man who appears to be wearing a border agent uniform driving close behind, then pulling up beside near a border crossing in upstate New York. The driver who took the video says the person chasing them started honking after noticing the Ontario license plate. U.S. border authorities say they are investigating the circumstances without commenting on whether the person in the video is actually an employee. Starbucks is closing hundreds of stores across North America. For customers and staff, the announcement seems to have come on short notice. With more on the reaction, here's Kamil Karamali.
Trouble brewing at this Toronto Starbucks.
I'm surprised and disappointed.
Saturday was the final day for this store.
This is a neighborhood spot, so it's kind of sad that they're closing.
On Saturday, plenty of customers here at this location on its final day, but the very next day, Sunday, the drapes pulled down, the place deserted, and the doors locked.
Devastating coffee drinkers. Starbucks said it's closing 1% of its North American stores. That equates to roughly 400 locations, laying off around 900 non-retail employees, shutting down stores where they were unable to create the physical environment our customers and partners expect, or where we don't see a path to financial performance. Although the company did not say how many locations are closing in Canada, dozens of stores were seen shutting down across Ontario, Alberta, and BC, with employees telling CTV News they received less than a week's notice, in some case only 2 days' notice, that they would be without a job. But they did not want to speak on camera, fearing a lawsuit because they say they signed an agreement not to talk to media.
Some of them found out because on the store hours online it said closed.
Starbucks says it provides a severance package with 3 weeks' pay and extended health care. The change is all part of Starbucks' billion-dollar restructuring plan after sales dropped for 6 straight quarters.
In this economy, people are questioning if they want to spend $3 or $4 for a deluxe premium coffee.
Now, retail analysts say the CEO is trying to return to what used to make it so unique.
And he's going to refocus on the in-store experience for the consumer.
Starbucks says it still operates more than 18,000 locations across North America while working to improve the design of about 1,000 of those. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, liftoff near Lucknow this weekend. The windy weather was exactly what organizers were hoping for, putting on Bruce County's International Kite Festival. Scott Miller reports.
The skies over Lucknow were filled with some of the most beautiful and expensive kites in the world this weekend at the 11th annual Kites in the Field Kite Festival.
We have a big one that just come from Colombia. It's probably $5,000.
Kites from across North America have converged on the Bruce County town of Lucknow to show off their latest and greatest high-flying creations.
I've been in kiting for about 35 years. I had a friend who got me hooked on a little $40 kite. And then you can go from there. And once you get hooked, it's where can you go outside in this beautiful weather like this and just enjoy yourself?
St. Denis actually built his Canadian Heroes 300 square foot wide kite to commemorate fallen Canadian soldiers. He flew it every time a Canadian soldier returned to Canada and traveled along the Highway of Heroes.
On the tail is actually all signatures of all heroes, all fallen soldiers. We have a World War I vets that actually signed it before he passed. And it's a hero's kite that someone can come up and sign and put the loved ones on, and something always to remember by.
Gary Maynard and his team of precision kite flyers called the Windjammers came all the way from Detroit for Lucknow's Kites in the Field.
I love the Canadian festivals. They are my favorite. Yeah, folks are wonderful.
While there is a separate section of sky for novice kite flyers to strut their stuff, the real show is the professional kiters like Matt Black, who has a 70 kite collection worth thousands of dollars, including his newest Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, you're outside. It's good exercise. We get such nice weather up here, and living on the lake, which is where I'm from, over in Kincardine Way, we always have wind, so it's very seldom that you can't fly.
The free festival is growing too, from humble beginnings to thousands of spectators over the two-day event.
Second year, we had about 50 people to 100, and now last year we had over 3,000 people show up. So it's been amazing to let people see what kites can do. The history of kites is phenomenal, it is. And just sit there, look up and forget whatever they're doing, and that's just the smiles on people's faces.
In Lucknow, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news after Monday Night Football. Bye for now.